Everybody, thanks for coming. My name is Jeremy Shoemaker. I write a blog at ShoeMoney.com. I also have various other companies that I run, and I've been doing affiliate marketing for about 7, going on 8 years or so. And I've also had a pretty successful radio show on Webmaster Radio for the last 4 years, going on 4 years or so now. Done well over 100 shows, had a lot of guests and stuff like that. And a lot of people have kind of gotten value out of those and whatnot. So when we were brainstorming about this keynote with Darren and Brandy about what we could do and how we could kind of like give the same value that we give to people from the radio show to the actual conference attendees. So we solicited questions, and we got a lot of really, really great questions. And then I talked to Darren and Brandy and I said, we should get a really good expert who's been, started as an affiliate and gone all the way up the ladder. So I thought of my friend Aaron Baker, who's the executive vice president at Intrinsic, which is one of the very few publicly traded affiliate companies. And not only is he high-powered affiliate executive, is that what you say? I don't know. But he started just like everyone here, and just like me too, just basically just getting started too. So join me in welcoming Aaron Baker. So Aaron, do you want to just talk a little bit about what you do?
So in my former life, I was an Army Ranger. I went to West Point, had some interesting stuff go on in the military. And when I got out, I kind of stumbled onto this thing called affiliate marketing. And it was early 2003, I think, when I first started. I also, at that time, I wasn't making a lot of money online. I figured if I can make $100, how can I make 1,000? So I spent a lot of time and energy trying to learn how do I make more money online. So I started working for various different companies. My first entrance into mainstream media was with a large radio broadcasting company called Entercom. Helped to build their streaming audio and video platforms and start to really learn at the same time. Google become very prevalent online. Through that, I became one of the largest search marketing affiliates over the years and specializing in SEM and SEO and social media. I found myself becoming the vice president of Pepperjam and Pepperjam Network at one point. We scaled and we built that company. Very interesting story there behind that. I came to Intrinsic to really build out the next internet media conglomerate that really can marry a best-in-class agency with an affiliate network and really help publishers grow. Because there's various challenges within the industry right now that really need to be addressed, and a lot of that is through advanced analytics and a lot of different marketing strategies that I know we're going to talk a little bit about today. So thank you for having me.
Awesome. Well, it's a really interesting time in the world, in the affiliate industry, basically, because we're really transitioning into, and we're actually seeing a lot of government intervention, whether it be in the form of taxes or in guidelines with the FTC stuff or just rules and regulations. I mean, we've been able to operate pretty much, it's been the Wild West for a long, long time, and now it's slowly becoming more and more regulated. So a lot of these questions that we receive from people were in regards to, a lot of it was just out of fear. I think fear of, they hear rumors about things, FTC kicking down doors and all this stuff. So we wanted to address the issue. So one of the first ones we had, one of the most, probably the one that was asked the most was directly about the FTC. Should you have a disclosure? Should you have a disclaimer when you're mailing out an affiliate offer or you mention an affiliate offer on Twitter, and stuff like that? There's guidelines and then there's rules. What's your thoughts on that, Aaron?
Yeah, I think you brought up a good point that we've been very fortunate for many years where the government hasn't interfered. I think it plays into the tax piece as well, is that any time that they can get their hands on stuff and find a way to make money from it, they're going to. We haven't done a great job of policing ourselves in the industry, and I think it really became under fire last year with the acai berry blogs and the kind of misleading consumers. So, FTC guidelines, they're going to happen, just like taxes are going to happen. But I think at the end of the day, if you're honest in the way you're promoting a product, you do put some type of disclaimer. For instance, on my sites, I'll have one separate page about a disclaimer and a privacy policy, and I'll keep that there. I think it affects bloggers a little bit more that are paid to do that stuff when you should put the disclaimer up front. But I think there are guidelines. There's no set rules. And everybody's kind of afraid of that, and they're misconstruing a lot of the stuff. So there's still guidelines. I think we should be really honest in the way we promote and not mislead consumers down a path with fake blogs and all that stuff. And it's really time to clean up the industry, and we've done a bad job, so the government's coming in. It is what it is. But I still think it's okay just to have a disclaimer on the site and just try to promote your products and your services in the most honest way possible.
I think many times with our products and the way we promote them, we found that actually, adding a disclaimer, having a privacy policy, terms of use, and all that kinds of stuff actually adds to the legitimacy of it, especially when you have a real address, that people can actually write to you or contact you or even call you and stuff like that. And I think that what you're seeing now is what happened in television and stuff where people started leveraging people's trust, whether people trust blogs, right now. People used to trust and still do trust the news and media outlets. And so you would see, late night infomercials that were structured like it was a news broadcast about this great thing they just discovered. And, there was some disclosure and disclaimers, but, at the end of the day, it's really, Aaron hit it on the head. It's more about misleading the consumer. And because when the FTC comes knocking, I've known people that it's happened to that were totally doing it by the book, but the whole problem was they had consumer complaints to like the Better Business Bureau and stuff like that, and they just ignored them. And they were like, well, who cares about the Better Business Bureau? Well, in today's economy, the government's not really doing that hot, and they need to justify their budgets and stuff like that. So they are actively pursuing a lot of these things like the Better Business Bureau, even like Rip-Off Report, a lot of these websites where consumers are complaining about being misled, being billed without their knowledge, all kinds of stuff like that. So, and when they come, if you're doing stuff or not, you've lost, you're screwed, because you don't have the money that it takes to prove that you're right. So.
Absolutely. This happened with the ringtone industry. This happened with any of the subscription products that had negative billing options. Google's even cracked down on that now. Any type of product right now, all the music service subscriptions are under fire right now. All the co-reg models came under fire. You can't even run traffic from Google anymore with it. So your traffic promotional methods with somebody like Google, if that's your main source of traffic, they're going to fall in line with whatever the FTC is doing as well. So if they catch wind of something, they immediately change. So, I think we just have to get really honest about what we do. I
think the best, so just in wrapping this little issue up, I think the best practice is, what the FTC uses as a litmus test is kind of like if an 80-year-old grandmother were to look at it, would she know that it was something for sale or not? Like, is she being misled into thinking like this is someone talking about this, like they're endorsing it, or would she actually know that they were being paid to endorse it? So, me with a blog, me with my Twitter account, I've done them all where I've done paid stuff, and some I've disclosed, some I don't. But, I think me as a whole, I've tried to disclose I am for sale. So, like everything I do is usually motivated, in some ways. But, like on my blog, I actually, that's what I try to do is make money on the internet. So, like everything I do is motivated in some way for the greater good of making money. Right? So,
absolutely.
Even though sometimes it goes to charity and some other things. So, some of the other questions, we had a lot of really good questions, and then we're also going to, Darren is keeping track of the ones coming on Twitter, so if you can just use the hashtag of Affcon if you have an affiliate question you'd like us to address. And we'll also actually poll the audience as well pretty soon. A lot of this stuff, again, is coming from, it seems like a big fear on the merchant side and on the publisher side. So from the advertiser side, a lot of them, there was a couple different people who said they had affiliate programs, but people promoted their products in ways they didn't approve of, or they were doing all these crazy things to do sales, and they just wanted to know, like, what's the best way to get good affiliates, to promote in a good way?
Yeah, it's a great question. I think the two, what we try to achieve with our network, and kind of where my thought process went when we said we're going to build a new affiliate network, the hundreds of them are out there. It's hard to pick and choose what network to work with. So this concept when we built Pepper Jam came up about transparency. So let's understand who our marketing partners are and how they're promoting traffic. I think that goes one step further. It's really the intent of what the affiliate's going to do. So basically what we looked at, the two issues that are really prevalent for larger and mainstream advertisers right now are brand protection, And then if I'm gonna lock down my brand and I'm not gonna allow affiliates to play in the gray area or kind of the black hat way, how do I prove distribution? How do I actually connect with affiliate partners? So, for an advertiser looking for the right network, I think you need to go above and beyond what you would get with a traditional like CPA or CPL network, and you really need to start looking at companies that really provide high level of service behind this and can actually work. We're working on something called Publisher Genome, which is DNA mapping for affiliates. So we can work with an advertiser and say, listen, if we like the certain characteristics of this particular publisher, the way they build their sites, the way they drive their traffic, to the quality of the leads or the sales coming through, I want to be able to find other affiliates like that. So that's technology we're about to launch, because it is a real issue in the industry. And I think what ends up happening is a lot of times the advertisers can't even track, and they don't even know the statistics on their own side. They don't even know their own analytics, and they can't figure out what channels are working for them or not. And it becomes this cannibalization issue of affiliates working in the search channel or email or display. So it comes down to having advanced technologies to be able to track that. And that's where the industry is kind of moving now. So it's coming, it's moving there. We're kind of leading the charge on it, but it has been an issue for a long, long time.
So, and that kind of leads to some of the other questions. We had a lot of questions about cloaking and masking. There's this big fear that if you show the affiliate company what you're doing, your keywords and all this stuff, that they're going to steal them and they're going to copy what you're doing and you're going to be out. So, do you want to address that? Because I know you've been on both ends of that.
Absolutely. So, on being an affiliate, you're always concerned of somebody taking your ideas, and especially, I think the affiliate industry in general has gotten kind of a bad rap. On the mainstream advertising networks, you look at a lot of advertisers will call affiliates skeevy, and they really don't see the value in it. And it's because a lot of people seek the path of resistance. They're going to go after their trademarks, they're going to do all that stuff. So cloaking from a perspective of a larger branded advertiser where they actually do have trademark volume is really tough for them to justify. And when you're cloaking and you're running through an affiliate network like that, a lot of times they can't see, there's no transparency to that traffic, and you run the risk of getting kicked out of the network and your commissions withheld and all that great stuff. But I think cloaking really has a legitimate space if you're promoting products on like a CPA network or a CPL network. Because a lot of those networks themselves have actually developed products, and the Sidebear was one of the prime things what they did, where they were going out and a lot of them found what the affiliates were doing traffic-wise, and they went and they built their own product and their own offer. So the affiliate network owned their own offer. Now they had all the data and the back-end intelligence from the actual affiliates, and they started doing that. So I think cloaking is really legitimate for affiliates that are trying to hide their traffic from having it stolen. So I think it comes down to the type of network you're actually working with. If you're working with a higher ground network that requires a lot of transparency, it's going to be a lot harder to get away with. But if you are really concerned about data, there's ways of doing it and not being
sure. So,
deceiving.
But the actual affiliate networks, they get to see, all of the keywords that comes in that converts to sales. They get to see exactly how you're promoting it if you're using a landing page or whatever. And then they know all the things you don't. They know what margins they're taking. They know what they're paying to, what they're getting paid, and what margin they're taking and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So obviously it would be incredibly advantageous to the affiliate network to create their own products, and then they know where to buy traffic, they know what product to make, and boom. So at what point, where's the line to where an affiliate network should and shouldn't do?
That's a good question. I think you can even take it a step further and you could say most affiliate networks are their own largest affiliates as well. So, and that has been over the past couple of years. Commission Junction bought Mezi Media, you had Linkshare acquired companies. So it also comes down to, are they becoming affiliates themselves to boost margins? Distribution is key, and if there's ways of doing it with the network, it's great. But there is a fine line. And I personally think, if you're working with top publishers like that, one of my concerns is potentially signing a confidentiality agreement with the network. And say, listen, if I'm sending traffic and we're working together, and if affiliate marketing is truly partnership marketing, let's be transparent. I want to know that you have my best interest in mind. Prime issue that you had with your keywords being stolen, and that was from
Yeah.
the monster themselves.
Yeah. So I can't talk a lot about that legal case, but if you searched, you can see we had a legal issue with an employee of Google that was settled out of court. I can't really talk about that, but yeah, it's definitely a huge issue, and I think that there's always a lot of fear, and what Aaron just brought up is a great point. If you're driving volume and you're doing big numbers, networks will work with you. I mean, big time.
You become important to a network. They're earning a piece of that sale every single time that you drive something through. And if you're really a key partner, I know our key partners, we have confidentiality agreements with them.
And also, most affiliate networks aren't building out products to compete. I mean, most aren't. But like the Acai Berry thing was so simple because you can have the pills made overseas and do all this stuff, and so
supplements in general are an issue because it's real easy, just white labeled products.
Right.
So a lot of times, if I were to look at a network, I would stay away from those types of products where a network could potentially compete. There's thousands of different opportunities to advertise, whether you want to work with more of the lead generation type stuff, or if you want to work with mainstream advertisers in e-commerce. There's lots of various things that you can do, and you don't have to be promoting that type of stuff either. So, if you look at something that's popular like that, and if the networks are getting in the business, obviously there's something there, but it's also becoming saturated. So I also start to look at it and go, where else do you go? And try to find the other low-hanging fruit as opposed to just competing in the big rat race. So
right, innovation sucks, but it's very rewarding. I mean, when you can do it. So that kind of leads into the whole opportunity at hand. I mean, which in the affiliate industry, I think is, I love it. I mean, it changed my life. I wouldn't be where I'm at today without the affiliate world, and it's given me freedom to do great, awesome things with my life. And I think we had a lot of questions about just how do I get started? I need a step-by-step. Where's a good place to get a step-by-step walkthrough and all this stuff? I mean, I personally feel all the information is out there. I mean, it's just get after it kind of. I mean, it doesn't really cost you anything I made a lot of money without spending money when I started. And I think there's this big myth that you need to buy something I have products for sale that would teach you how to do affiliate marketing. So if you want to buy something, I would love to sell you that. But, you can learn it. I learned it on my own, and I know you did as well.
Yeah, there's multiple ways to get started. I think there was that misconception. I talked to somebody before after my last session, and he was really worried about advanced tracking technology. And I said, well, what are you promoting? He goes, well, I'm still trying to figure it out. And I said, you didn't do anything yet. You don't even have a site built, so why are we going into advanced tracking? But at the end of the day, I think you have to teach yourself, you have to figure out where you want to play, right? Because a lot of the stuff that's newer requires technical programming skills, so on and so forth. But, one of the easiest ways, and I think one of the valuable things, especially to a lot of mainstream advertisers that we represent, content is really a lot of the future of online, right? I think Google's changing the way SEO has moved forward. Just randomly blog posting comments and link farms and all that great stuff on the SEO side has become a real issue. One of the things that I focus on a lot of times that we look at really high-level affiliates are really niche people that develop sites that produce quality content that are driving traffic in a particular vertical. And that's part of our theory behind DNA mapping as we start to look. So if you're, if you have a fashion blog, right, think of all the advertisers that you could be working. True Religion, you can work with DKNY, you can work with all these great brands. And promote that in a legitimate way. Advertisers love it. One of the hardest thing to get into a network now, especially one of the larger mainstream networks, is a coupon site. Everybody became coupon sites, and it's a quick mask for trademark hijacking and all those great things. So really content sites you can never go wrong with. And it doesn't cost a lot to do because, you can put up a WordPress blog and start.
I have two very good friends of mine. One started a site called I Can Ask Cheeseburger, which has all the stupid cat photos, captions that you see everywhere. The site's basically sold for $2 million, but now it does way better revenues. But that started on WordPress. And my other friend has an MMA, it's MMAjunkie.com, was junkie.wordpress.com when it started. Another multi-million-dollar blog, just started. These sites just completely kill it in the affiliate industry. And it's all like Cheeseburger does the whole thing with the pet products and all that stuff. And these were just fun niche sites. And that's the same thing that happened to me too in ringtones. I basically fell into a whole of money in the affiliate industry because I was so into music and making ringtones, and I thought it was really cool to make and share ringtones. So I think like we had a question about, you know, just how do I get started and all this stuff, but we also had a question about and I loved it when it came in. I'm trying to remember exactly what it was, but it was something to the effect of, do I have to do really bad things to people to make money on the internet? Right? So, and I thought that was really an interesting way to look at the affiliate industry. Like, really? Like, do people really look at it like that? But, I mean, like, if you look at some of those sites, I mean, they make money just because they just love what they're doing and all that stuff. And, I don't know, do you want to touch on that a bit?
Yeah, you know, at the end of the day, this is all marketing, right? Find something you're really passionate about, right? And pursue that. So if you're really passionate about real estate, start a real estate blog. Lots of advertisers you can work with. To your point with the guy with the MMA site. You know, if you're an MMA fan, great, let's put content around that. There's various content writing, so if you don't feel like writing the content yourself, there's various services. Idealaunch.com has a great content writing service, our friend Byron White. But there's other places where you can get content from and start to build that out, and you'll start to build SEO rankings. And that is probably one of the more legitimate ways. You're not spamming people. You can build an audience. One of the key things for advertisers today is really, how do I build an audience? How do I build a membership base? I know some people, some former friends of ours that are doing kind of the next wave of the loyalty type sites, but with a social media twist. All those sites build audiences. So even when you look at the older coupon sites back in the day, they all built an audience. They had a lot of repeat traffic, and it took time to build. So I think the skeevy impression came from a lot of the get rich quick type things.
Right.
You know, I want to be a millionaire overnight, and I mean, it started with MLM back in the day, and
right.
you know, you get the postcard in the mail, and they're like, send me $1, send these 5 people $1, and you refer people, and they send you $1. You know, it's that kind of mentality that I think needs to change, and unfortunately, you're going to find that stuff in every industry. And I think those MLM guys created a lot of those issues in the beginning. Not saying that all of it's bad, but kind of that pyramid scheme type thing.
Sure.
Everybody get rich quick. And
I think every time you have something where there's no real hard, fast rules, it's kind of a race to the bottom, right? And affiliates, what is the word Facebook likes to use for affiliates? They say something like they know how to scale better than anyone, which, I mean, I think that's a nice way of saying like they'll push boundaries as hard and as fast as possible. And if affiliates find, and I'm speaking in general terms, I probably shouldn't stereotype the whole industry, but basically, like, if I find a hole somewhere and it's just a matter of capital, I just need to spend more money to make more money, I mean, that hole is going to be exploited. So what do you think in terms of regulation to that kind of stuff?
So I'm all for, I mean, I'm an affiliate at heart as well. Mm-hmm. I'm all for free enterprise and the great entrepreneurs that I've been fortunate, I know you have as well, to meet throughout the years. It's one of the best industries in the world. It's also one of the best industries where you can scale, right? You can retire from affiliate marketing. You can really change your life and alter your life in a positive way through this. And best of all, you can work from home. You can do all those great things. But once again, it really takes a lot of work to do it. So
yeah, but if you can put in the work and actually build a niche website that people want to bookmark or even make their starting page. I mean, I know like
audience.
Cheeseburger, they have people that just start there every day at that site because they love that site so much. And they have such an audience. People do that and I mean, you can literally print money when you can establish and build an audience like that. It's very hard to do. And a lot of times when people start it for the reason of, who's a jackass with the ringtone on? All right, turn your phone's off, thank you. All right.
You know, I think one of the issues is when you look at the boundaries, it's whose boundaries, right? It usually comes down to the advertisers. Do the advertisers allow it, right? Are they taking advantage of that traffic channel themselves, right? Just look at trademark issues, right? So if affiliates are bidding on trademarks on Google or direct linking to an advertiser, some advertisers allow it, others don't. So if you're an advertiser, you know, if you're an advertiser starting off and you don't have the capital to really deploy against search engine marketing or display media or whatever, the first place it goes is performance marketing. It's great, I can pay performance, right? But as they start to grow, you usually see those advertisers go, oh, well, you know what, I could buy my trademark, I can get conversion there cheaper, right? So my costs are lower, so I'm gonna do that. And all of a sudden it's bad for affiliates to do that.
Yeah,